Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer DeBona and I do business as That CAD Girl. That CAD Girl is a charter member of the original Carlson College, and we provide training and support for Carlson software, AutoCAD, and IntelliCAD. Thank you for watching. So for this example, I'm using Carlson 2020 on top of IntelliCAD, and I'd like to show you how to use Carlson's drawing cleanup command to identify and maybe fix entities in your drawing that have bad elevations before you build a surface with it. So for this example, I've isolated out existing and proposed contours to make it easy. And we'll just start off by looking at these entities in our 3D viewer, the drawing viewer. And I'll put a window around everything. And it comes up in my window, and I'm going to zoom out a bit so you can see everything. So you can see we have some issues here. If we were to build a surface from this, it might be a mess because the elevations of the entities that I selected were as low as 1101, it shows me here, and as high as 615. And I'm even ignoring zero elevations at this point. If I uncheck that, you can see all those zero elevations right here about in the middle. So the ability to ignore zero elevations is important because, like I said, we're using this window as a preview to see the entities before we build a surface. When we go to triangulate and contour to build a surface, we can ignore zero elevations there, so it's important we can ignore them here too. So generally speaking, it looks like the existing contours have good elevations and the proposed ones not so good. So we could always just go in and maybe try to figure out which of these proposed contours are bad and try to fix them. But usually when it's this messy, the better way to do it is just to set everything to zero and then start re-elevating, knowing everything starts at zero. So that's where we're going to go with this. So I'll turn this back on to ignore zero elevations here in this viewer. And I'll go to the drawing cleanup command here under the file menu. It's under file. That means everybody has access to it regardless of what program you use. And when you first get in here, all the options are turned on. I'm going to go down to clear everything because the only thing I want to run at this point is this option to set elevations outside the range to zero. Notice that you've got the option to process the entire drawing or just a selection set. You know, I'm going to tend toward this one most of the time because I want to see what's going on. Don't want things to be changed in the background that I may not completely be aware of, and doing that to an entire drawing is cumbersome. So this command, we're going to start off by setting elevations outside the range to zero. We're going to scan the drawing first, and it's going to tell us here what those elevations are. So it found negative 1192 to a positive 616. It's a very big range. Maybe when I get in here, I'm not even sure what good elevation should be. So I'm going to cancel out of this. And let's just use our existing contours to get an idea of what a good range would be. It looks like we've got elevations down to 266, maybe 265. And on the high side, we can see 319. So maybe we just want to say anything between 250 and 350 is probably good. So back to drawing cleanup. Again, I'm going to clear all my options and just turn this one on. I'll rescan. But now I'm going to put in what I want to consider good elevations. So when I pick OK and then select everything, it's not going to erase everything with a bad elevation. It's going to set anything outside that range to a zero elevation. That way I can choose to have my surface, triangulate and contour will ignore it altogether if it's zero, or I could re-elevate and give it a good elevation. So I'm going to pick OK and put a window around everything, enter, and give it a chance to process here. And the good thing about Drawing Cleanup, it will give you a report every time you run it that tells you what it's done. Okay, so I've closed that. Let's just see what kind of progress we've made here. Look at that drawing viewer again. And I can just see here how much better things are. I am ignoring 0 elevations, and so the good elevations, just in the range, you can see 260 to 319, which is what I expected. If I tip this up on its side, that looks good. And then if I zoom out and uncheck ignore 0 elevations, I can see all those proposed contours down here. Now I have work to get those up to a good elevation. Looks like I've got some geometry issues as well, but at least I know right off the bat what I need to do to fix all this. So I always just turn that back on before I close. So hopefully you found this video helpful, and as always, hope it saves you picks and clicks. Thanks for watching.